Okay, we are back with the second section of chapter 2, and we're going to begin our this particular segment looking at respect for the patient. This is very, very important, and this will be reiterated throughout this lecture series. And this is associated with HIPAA, which is HIPPA, and it stands for Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. And this is found on page 26 of your textbook. So what is this? Well, they recognized that there was a need for a law. And this occurred in 1996. And again, HIPAA stands for the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act. And this made sure that healthcare providers were responsible for the privacy and the security of all identifiable patients' health information. And patient health information, sometimes you see it as abbreviated as PHI. That is rather protected health information, PHI. And we're talking about this protected health information from the patient in many different forms. This includes electronic, such as via email, on paper. When we look at the different type of records, medical records, or oral communications. If you go to many hospitals, you'll find on elevator doors a reminder to health professionals, nurses, physicians, social workers, psychologists, psychiatrists, that they should not discuss openly within this particular confined space the health information of patients. Patient confidentiality in relationship to the health information is extremely important. Among other things, this means that the computer files must be protected. Again, electronic transmission of any kind must be protected. It must be HIPAA compliant. And that when speaking, the pharmacy clinician must speak to the patient in a confidentiality manner. That means that other individuals should not be around as they speak to the patient, or if there's a particular concern that is relayed to the pharmacist and not to family members that may be picking up the prescription or other individuals that may be responsible for picking up the prescription of a particular uh, patient. So these are things that are very, very important. So again, healthcare providers are responsible for the privacy and security of all identifiable patient information. This is considered as PHI, which means protected health information. They must have HIPAA controls in relationship to any form of communication. So HIPAA covers those and govern those type of communication in any form, whether electronic, paper, or oral communication. Again, HIPAA compliant electronic data exchange must occur. We find such security between the physician and the pharmacy. Within the earshot of others or individuals in the surrounding, that patient information should not be discussed. Patient information cannot be even discussed with family members. It's something that's very important. And then if there is a need for discussion, if you look at many of the modern pharmacies, there is a place in which the pharmacist can step in a secure area or private area and discuss medication and other personal health issues with that particular patients. And then there must be a secure way of keeping stored files and documents relating to the different patients' information. So HIPAA is something that's very important, and the pharmacy technician should recognize that they cannot discuss any information relating to the patient with anyone other than a designated health professional. Let's look at the training that is necessary for pharmacy technician. And this particular type of training is dependent on the job requirements of that particular job. Remember, we talked about the different type of settings in which we find pharmacy technicians. So even though there's an overarching set of requirements, there may be specific skills depending on the specific setting that particular pharmacy technician find themselves. So the training is based on the job requirements, the necessary skills, professional standards in which we have already talked about, of course, the state regulations that will govern the scope of practice of the pharmacy technician. So training and competency for the pharmacy technician differ from setting to setting. Again, the settings can be the community pharmacy, could be the hospital pharmacy, the managed care facility, long-term care, home health, compounding pharmacy. These are the different settings in which a pharmacy technician can find themselves. One of the examples of a certifying agency for pharmacy technician training program is the American Health System Pharmacists. This particular organization certifies training programs, and those particular programs that meet the ASHP standard receive an ASHP accreditation. And this is a growing trend. I believe that by 2020, all pharmacy technician training program must be ASPHP certified in order to be recognized by the state. So at this particular point in time, there's close to 250 schools that are involved in pharmacy technician training. So the ASHP maintains a directory of over 250 schools and training institutions that offer the pharmacy technician training program in which they have accredited. Okay. Another thing that's very important is competency. When you talk about competency, we're talking about the ability for the individual to do their work, okay, to be able to perform within the scope of practices that has been designated for that particular skill set as relating to the pharmacy technician. And so there will be evaluations from time to time that's done by your employer to see how well that you're meeting those particular standards as designated within your scope of practice and how competent you are in performing your task. Okay, so when we talk about training, that depends with that depends on your scope of practice. So your employee will monitor and document your competency. Depending on your settings, you receive training in different areas, such as drug laws. Okay, and we will be talking about certain drug laws. We already talked about HIPAA, and we learned that that is the law that governs confidentiality of patient health information. We talked about you learn about different types of terminologies associated with your pharmacy technician training, how to read and write prescriptions, how to do calculations, drug routes, and forms that are associated with that, drug dosage activity, inventory management, biopharmaceuticals, drug classifications, inventory management, pharmacy literature, compounding. Okay, so as an important part of your training, is exposure to actual workforce setting. Many technicians will receive this in the form of on-the-job training that their employee or as internship through community colleges or other training programs. And so your on-the-job training will be in the actual pharmacy in the form of a externship. What are some other things that are very important? Well, your competency. And when we talk about competency, that involves testing, and your testing comes with your certification. And this particular program is designed for you to pass your certifying exam. And then the performance on your job, which will be evaluated by your employee. You get performance reviews. You will look at different complaints that could be in your files. Hopefully that does not occur. And then comments by your supervisor and other appropriate personnel. So just like any job, your employee wants you to be competent in order to fulfill the scope of practice designated within the job. Also, it's very important that once you are certified as a pharmacy technician, your certification only lasts for 2 years. And so most likely your employee will try to have continuing educational opportunities for you so that you are able to maintain your certification and be up to date with the latest standards as associated with your scope of practice as a pharmacy technician. Okay, you're actually being trained for the PTCE, which is the Pharmacy Technician Certifying Exam. This is offered by the Pharmacy Technician Certifying Board. It is the oldest and most accepted, even though there's another certifying exam. And this is what you're actually being trained for. And the different components of this particular type of certification, you can find it at this particular website here. The other one is offered by the National Health Career Center, and it is called the EXCPT, and this is the exam for the certification of pharmacy technician. Right, so both of them are good certification. However, the one that's most accepted in most places and will give you a national certification is the PTCE. All right. So since there is no federal standard for training or competency, obtaining certification is a valuable career step as a pharmacy technician. If you want to move very quickly as a pharmacy technician into maybe a supervisory role or having additional leadership opportunities within the pharmacy, having been certified is important. In the state of Maryland, for example, they require 120 hours in relationship to coursework, 160 hours in relationship to externship, and then a certifying exam, national certifying exam, so that their students can be able to work within the state of Maryland. And there's many variations from state to state. Certification is a mark of achievement that employees, colleagues, and others will recognize, so it's very important. Certification must be renewed every 2 years. For those students who are at the high school level or and are thinking of a healthcare profession, being certified right after high school and working through your college as a pharmacy technician adds value to your graduate exam. One, you are able to pass a national certified exam, so you should be able to pass whatever certifying exam necessary, such as the dental board or medical school board. You've been working within a healthcare setting in comparison that someone may have a traditional biology or chemistry major, so that's something that can be very helpful to you. Okay, so this concludes this particular